offer. Twin Spires leaderboard competition will begin on Thursday for each race at Churchill Downs on Thurby. That's a week from today. Make at least a $10 win wager on a single horse and earn points. If that horse runs first, second, or third, climb the leaderboard and share in your $2,500 prize pool. That's being offered. Contest is free to enter. All you have to do is head to twinspires.com, like all of these promotions, or the app, and select the offers page and opt into the Thurby leaderboard contest. And these are some of my favorite promotions Twin Spires has.
Without a doubt. I love these handicapping contests. Nothing like seeing your name right there amongst the top 5, top 10. Boy, the adrenaline rush takes over. It's pretty cool.
The designated training period is about to begin. You see the horses in the highlighter yellow. Those are the Kentucky Derby starters or potential starters, depending on their current status. And the Kentucky Oaks horses, of course, in the traditional spring, and they're waiting for the racetrack to open. And again, the highlights today, Tony, the Thursday out from the Oaks and the Derby are going to be Anna Marie and Leslie's Rose working. But anytime we get to lay eyes on Fierceness, that's always a highlight as well.
Incredible. Fierceness, what a tremendous Florida Derby. I just watched that race again. It was just awesome the way he opened up in the final quarter of a mile. Wasn't really asked for much. What do we get with him, Joe? Do we get that effort? Do we get the juvenile effort? Or do we get the prep? It's hit and miss. It is hit and miss.
I'm being told, I'm getting several texts coming in that there's no audio on our show right now. So if we can check into that, I'm being told the video is going out, but there is no audio on the show. So if we can check into that, hopefully get that rectified. Tony said a lot of very good and important things.
Yeah, well, it's only fitting when maybe he came with some good material. Nobody was there to hear it.
There you go. But there you see Fierceness. Hopefully we can get that audio issue worked out. Fierceness for Todd Pletcher. You know, and listening to Todd talk about this horse, and I mentioned this yesterday, I wasn't on the work show, and I saw him gallop, and he was just, nice and relaxed. Wasn't tugging, didn't have a lot of enthusiasm. And I kind of looked at that as maybe a little bit of a negative. But when Todd Pletcher talks about this horse, he talks about how laid back he is. And there he is again displaying that quality.
Oh, and it's a good quality to have, because you want to be laid back on the first Saturday in May. The crowd's going to be huge. Numbers that you've never seen before, these horses, as far as the people in attendance. So you want a cool customer. And I'll tell you what, when you win by as much as he did in the Florida Derby, maybe he says to himself, hey, I know I'm the man. I don't have to worry about a thing. They got to come and get me.
Yeah, until things don't go right.
Well,
then he doesn't feel like he's the man anymore.
Yeah, I guess so. I like it. I'd rather have a horse laid back than one that's just a little too fired up sometimes, especially if they're using a lot of energy in a negative manner. It's good to be on your toes and feeling good, but it's also good to be relaxed. And I've seen horses that look like they're half asleep in the post parade, and all of a sudden they just run a hole in the wind.
Right, and if you can compare it to any other athlete. If you're laid back going into a big game, but you still have that competitive edge, then that's exactly the type of qualities you want to have. If you're on the muscle going into a big game, your energy level is going to be high, but maybe you're a little bit more prone to making a mistake.
And your energy level might be a little depleted in the latter stages,
Good point. There's Fierceness. I believe we have a shot of Anna Marie. We want to keep a close eye on him because he is going to work here this morning. And I believe Ben Curtis, and that is Ben. Ben is going to be the rider, and what a great story Ben Curtis is, not only riding in the United States for the first time this past winter at Fairgrounds and having a very successful meet, but if you would have asked Ben when he came to Fairgrounds if he thought he would have a Kentucky Derby mount, he would have probably looked at you like you were an alien.
Well, that's pretty cool for him. What a great story it is, and this is a cool horse. He's been the buzz horse, that's for sure. I found him pretty attractive, pretty intriguing. I watched that Louisiana Derby. I know Catching Freedom had a little trouble at the start, but this horse was in front of him swinging into the lane. And perhaps if, I don't know what do you think that's going to develop? You think he'll be in front of Catching Freedom in the Derby, or are they going to flip-flop, reverse their roles a little bit?
It all depends on the break,
obviously,
right? And the first turn. But I think if they both broke cleanly and got the run that they wanted in the first turn, I think there's a pretty good chance Catching Freedom might be in front of him.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that myself too.
Yeah.
The more I've gotten into the PPs, but this horse is he's got a shot, that's for sure. The one thing I'm concerned about is he's the buzz horse, and it seems like I was telling Caitlin the other day, every time that I seem to jump on a buzz horse, the wise guy horse, they run up the track. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of that horse Bill Mott had a few years ago that ran, I believe, second in the Florida Derby, and I was all over him. And I vowed to myself to never pick an N too well again in the Derby, and then Rich Strike popped up and won the big race. But,
right, that's one of the many, many reasons that make the Derby so fascinating.
yeah,
right?
But this guy, if the pace is hot and heavy, he is definitely one of the horses who will benefit from it. This is the third start. This will be his third start as a 3-year-old. He's already shown a fondness for this racetrack. I like the fact that he has a 1 1/8 and a 1 3/16 preps leading up to the Kentucky Derby. His trainer has basically come out and said he thinks he'll run all day, and if they go absolutely crazy up front, this is a horse that will be finishing with enthusiasm in the concluding stages.
He is going to work with Agu, who is an accomplished sprinter, a very good sparring partner.
Yes.
For a lot of Whit Beckman's better horses. And you're going to see Agu here on the inside, and you're going to see Anna Marie utilizing him as a target. According to Kevin Kirstein, they're supposed to go 5/8 of a mile. And Ben Curtis has never ridden here at Churchill Downs, but he and agent Ron Fauché accepting mounts early in the meet. They expect to ride a couple of races a day, so Ben can get a feel for it. But like Ben has said, he's used to riding in big fields from his experience overseas.
That's cool. That's something that maybe goes a little bit under the radar. You get a jockey that's maybe not that familiar with big fields, and all of a sudden, this here's Ben Curtis, who's used to it. So far, a good move. He's got the sprinter to his inside, and he's right there with him, so he's totally into the move early. That's for sure. He's on level terms already, and that's a sprinter to his inside.
Yeah, and the goal here is, again, slower early and faster late, but they're going a heck of a lot faster than Forever Young did yesterday. They're rattling up a pretty decent clip, and this is so far so good for Anna Marie. As you can see, Agu not under a ride, but under some urging here at the top of the stretch, and Anna Marie still under a very tight hold.
And especially considering this is a horse that does his best running in the concluding stages. Here he is. He was on level terms pretty early. He was all over him, and this is a solid move. He's handled his workmate with ease the way you would expect. Now he's starting to hit his best stride, and look at him level off.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you what, if this is a buzz horse and this is the wise guy horse, he's only made a much more favorable impression after that. That's cool.
We'll see what the gallop out looks like here. So far, so good. Agu, again, the workmate, an accomplished sprinter, went off form a little bit towards the end of the Fairgrounds meet. You see him in the latter stages really having a tougher time keeping up with Anna Marie, but starting to shut it down now in the gallop out. Anna Marie for trainer Whit Beckman, the runner-up in the Louisiana Derby, and already has a very important win here at Churchill Downs as a 2-year-old in the Kentucky Jockey Club. We've got Leslie's Rose, and she took a few starts to stretch out for Todd Pletcher, but when he did in the Ashland, she looked awesome. She got an inside favoring trip in the pocket. Inside was good, speed was good. She was in a good stalking position, and there you see Leslie's Rose here. She's going to work a solo half mile with Irad Ortiz. Again, this is on tape.
Yeah, this is the Ashland winner, and just like you said, Joe, she did get the run of the race. It wasn't the fastest pace, the 3/4 1:12, so she was a little bit more into it than just FYI. She got a very nice inside trip, tipped out at the top of the lane, and ran on strongly. You can't take anything away from the victory because she won very authoritatively, and she looked very good doing it. Can just FYI make up the necessary 4 lengths on her? Perhaps. She needed that race. She'll be much more tighter coming into the Kentucky Oaks, but there's no doubt about it that Leslie's Rose deserves to be one of the top 3, 4 mentioned as the top contenders for this race.
Always just FYI with one of the most eye-popping works, not only that I've seen since we started the work show, but ever. A few days ago for Bill Mott. And even though Leslie's Rose beat Just FYI, I got a feeling Just FYI has a pretty good opportunity, pretty good gallop out here,
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Awesome gallop out. Great move. No question about it.
Yeah.
She was into it throughout. And sometimes when horses work by themselves, it takes them a little while to get into it. It seemed from the very beginning she had her mind on business, and this gallop out is tremendous.
Yes, yes. And, Probably going to get a half-mile clocking, I would believe, on this. But obviously, whatever that clocking is, we know she did a lot more than that.
Yeah, that was good stuff right there, no question about it. But we have a great Kentucky Oaks coming up, Joe. There's some powerful fillies in this race.
Tapit Janali is also going to work this morning. This was on tape as well. And Eddie Milligan Jr., the trainer of this daughter of Tapit, a grade 2 placing, well behind Thorpedo Anna. And just talking to some people on the backstretch yesterday, you think of Tapit, you think of, you know, maybe leaning towards being a little bit of a head case. They say she's the kindest filly. Like she's got her head on straight. She's obviously going to be a long shot in the Oaks coming up on Friday of next week. But great to see a trainer like Eddie Milligan, old school horseman, with Tapit Janali in the field.
That's cool stuff. It's always nice when people have put in their dues and they get an opportunity to run in a big race. Love the way the sun was shining off of her coat. That was a cool looking shot we got right there. You know, she was running on in her recent prep, and perhaps if she gets a good pace to come after, she could make an impact. Doesn't seem to be quite as impressive in this move as what we just saw with Leslie's Rose, but you know, some horses are different. Some horses, when they're by themselves, they just kind of go about their business. Obviously, what we saw from Leslie's Rose, I think, a lot more impressive than this one.
Manny Esquivel scheduled to ride Tapit Janali in the Oaks. I'm getting word that Candied did work. I believe it was in company 47-3. I'm not sure that we got that work with everything else that was going on. We're going to switch gears here to some gallopers. As you see Tapit Janali concluding her work. Oh, we do have Candied, okay.
Nice.
And she is on the outside, obviously, with the pink saddle towel. And I'm being told 47-3. And now right there, you didn't see the beginning of the work, and she's having to, you know, push herself by the workmate here. But this was moments ago, and she's a dangerous horse if she gets in the Oaks.
I would agree. She has a good running style that could make her presence felt in the final quarter of a mile. Having a little trouble pushing by the workmate. Now she's going to look like put her head in front of her. See what we get.
Scalable is the workmate on the inside. A little bit of difficulty with the camera there. But yeah, so 47-3 there for Candied. And, you know, I believe that Todd Pletcher, I'm sure we'll hear from him later, had to be happy with those moves. Whit Beckman's got to be thrilled with Anna Marie. And, you know, Tapit Janali just, you know, putting the finishing touches on her Oaks preparation.
Some good stuff we saw. Anna Marie, that was a cool move, that's for sure. Awesome display there. The buzz horse. He's been the buzz horse up for the Kentucky Derby leading up for 150 Kentucky Derby, and that workout's only going to make that buzz even.
Yes, for sure.
Sorry, get a little tongue-tied here.
No doubt. No, I totally agree. So a lot of people are wondering where the speed's going to come at from the Kentucky Oaks, and this is a horse that could be prominent. This is into Champagne. Julian Leproux scheduled to ride for, you know, Kentucky favorite Ian Wilkes. This is a horse that was on the lead last time out in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. Couldn't keep up with Power Squeeze, who we've yet to see, and Ways and Means, who's going to be one of the favorites in the run for the Lilies.
Yep, into Champagne. She comes out of that race you just mentioned. Don't have a lot about her. Maybe you can help me a little bit here, Joe, with this one.
Yeah, she was a horse that began her career at Ellis Park with a dominant maiden special weight win. And you know, they paid $300,000 for her as a yearling, a daughter of Into Mischief. She won the follow-up start, sprinting in the slop at Gulfstream, second in the Devona Dale behind Fiona's Magic, and then third last out in the Gulfstream Park Oaks Power Squeeze. Ways and Means considerably in front of her. But again, I think she's important to the race because I think that she's one of the horses that we can be pretty certain is at least going to be forwardly placed.
And you've been talking about that the race might have a little bit of void of pace, so that's always nice. Into Champagne. So Ian Wilkes does a great job with all of his horses, and he's making a very good impression out there.
Into Champagne for the Kentucky Oaks. Also on the racetrack this morning for trainer Bill Mott is Resilience. We'll move over to him next. And, you know, people have talked about the Risen Star being the strongest top to bottom prep. It took this Bill Mott trainee 4 tries to break the maiden, finally did so on the first of the year at Gulfstream. Went right into the Risen Star, got a very clean trip that day, wound up finishing 4th. Did not punch home after that good trip, but also got beat by 3 good horses in Sierra Leone, Track Phantom, and Catching Freedom. Came back and won the Wood Memorial in pretty solid fashion, I thought.
I agree. Very workmanlike in the Wood Memorial. Ran very well in the Risen Star. Boy, the Risen Star was that. That is the saltiest prep that we've seen all season. The company lines, the italics, it's incredible that race, what it has produced. He should be up there amongst the early action, probably in the second flight, I would think.
Yep.
And he has every right to continue to improve. This will be his 4th start in 2024. He debuted with that maiden victory on the 1st of January, debuted in 2024. I always like horses who debut at Saratoga, so he has that in his corner. Seems like that's another thing I like about Ways and Means. Her maiden victory at Saratoga was awesome. Resilience, moving into the race in the right direction, that's for sure.
We got some workout times we want to pass along as we switch gears over to Just FYI. Again, that eye-popping work here just the other day for one Bill Mott trainee in Resilience for the Derby to another for the Oaks here. Honor Marie, okay, so she goes 59, or he goes 59-1 with splits of 12, 23-4. That's quick. 35-3, 47-2, 59-1, galloping out 112-3, 127-3. Now that's fast for your penultimate work going to the Kentucky Derby, but this horse is obviously thriving right now. Leslie's Rose also visually impressive, 13-1, 25-1, 49-2. That's the official time, galloping out 102-2, 116-1. Again, the times aren't that fast, but was visually impressive. Candied and Company goes 12-3, 24-1, 36-1, 47-3, the final clocking, galloping out a minute, 112-4, 127-2, and Tapaginelli at 12-4, 25, easy 49-2, out in 102-2, and 116-1. So obviously Anna Marie with a very fast time, look good doing it. Leslie's Rose visually impressive as well. Candied, who's a further out the back closer, maybe that was the intention today, to get her in company to go a little bit more quickly. And
she did, and that's what happens when you're in company. When you're working by yourself, moves are going to tend to be a little bit slower than when in company. You know what's interesting about these times is I thought Leslie's Rose was much more visually impressive than Tapaginelli, but the times are pretty darn equal. In fact, Tapaginelli has some interior fractions that are a little bit quicker. Yeah. The opening quarter, the opening eighth and the opening quarter, but they finish up the same. But I just thought the Leslie's Rose move was much more catching to the eye.
Just FYI, with an eye-catching work the other day, and also with an eye-catching work, and Kenny McPeak's talking a big game with Thorpedo Anna. And there she is on your screen right now. And you talked about her a little bit earlier, Tony, with the path she's taken to get here. And you look at her pedigree, A, she's not supposed to be a good horse at all. B, she's certainly not supposed to be a 9-furlong horse by Fast Anna.
Exactly. That's the conflicting part of her breeding. Fast Anna suggesting a little bit shorter distances. I was telling Caitlin the other day, she is built like a 2-turn horse, that's for sure. What a record. I was diving into it last night. 4 starts, 3 authoritative victories. The one defeat was on a 15-day wheelback or something relatively quick.
I remember it well.
Yeah. That was her stakes debut run.
It was the A other than victory that she won so easily, and I think Kenny thought, well, she barely, blew out a matchstick after that race. Let's wheel her back in the Goldenrod, the grade 2, because she's so good right now. She was even money that day, and Intricate ran awesome. Intricate has not gone on this winter to be an Oaks caliber filly. I'm not, sure exactly what Brendan Walsh is doing with her at this point, but Thorpedo Anna off the bench was training at Fairgrounds all winter, went in the fantasy at Oaklawn Park, and could not have been any more impressive. Showed speed, but also showed rateability.
And she had to cover extra ground. She was stuck out there a little deep throughout, and when she turned into the lane, she just whistled away from her rivals. She's quite the specimen, that's for sure. Her and Just FYI both have powerful bodies, and like I was saying, this Kentucky Oaks is shaping up to be one heck of a race.
I mean, she just looks tremendous out there.
No question.
She's got the physicality and apparently the mental side of the game working in her favor. She's done everything right. And like I said, Kenny McPeak said, you know, we're bringing a bear to the Oaks. If you want to beat us, you better bring a grizzly.
I love it.
There are a few grizzlies in this field, though.
Yeah, that's for sure. There's a lot of grizzlies. The Oaks is competitive from top to bottom. Like we were talking about earlier, there's a couple on the also eligible list who could make a big impact.
Yeah, it's going to wrap it up for the training session here on the Kentucky Derby morning work show. And we're going to tell you again about some important promotions coming up, courtesy of Twin Spires. Always great promotions every day of the week, and some special promotions in regards to Churchill Downs and Derby week. And we're going to start with this money back offer. And Tony, basically this is insurance on your win bet. If you bet a horse to win in the eligible races and they run second or third, you get up to $10 back. So you make a win bet, $10, and the horse runs second, you get that money back. If they win, of course, you cash your ticket.
It's a great promo. Oftentimes, especially on a big day like the Derby, you'll make your bet and you'll forget all about it, and your horse loses, runs second or third, and all of a sudden you look at your account like about an hour later. Hey, where'd that $10 come from? Oh yeah, that's the promo.
Yeah, it's great insurance on your win bets. Again, only at Twin Spires. Make sure you opt in. And then another great promotion, and we love these leaderboard competitions because every day you go to the racetrack, it's a competition. It's the pari-mutuel system. I'm betting against you. We're betting against the guy sitting at the table next to us, etc., etc. And in this situation, not only are you involved pari-mutually, but you're involved in a leaderboard situation. Make those $10 win bets on Thurby, which is a week from today. Earn points if your horse runs first, second, or third. Whoever has the most points earns the lion's share of $2,500.
You have to love these contests. Like I was saying earlier, when you see your name right there in the top 5, oh, the adrenaline takes over, and then you're starting to strategize. Hey, what can I do to separate from others? So pretty cool stuff.
And the draw show, of course, coming up on Saturday. Want to give that another push very quickly. It's going to be held in the paddock, the brand new paddock. Again, lots of tours happening here in recent days to, show it off, so to speak. And it's going to be unveiled opening night Saturday, and it's really going to be prominent for the draw show. It's going to happen between races 3 and 4. We're going to draw the Oaks, and we're going to draw the Derby. Travis Stone's going to be emceeing down in the paddock, and therefore somebody's got to call the races, and I think I've got a pretty good candidate sitting right next to me.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool, fans. I get to call races 2, 3, and 4 opening night, so looking forward to that, that's for sure.
The draw for the Oaks and the Derby presented by Ford. Again, all the streaming services that you're used to watching this show on, including NBCSports.com as well. And don't forget, tomorrow we're going to expand the morning workout show. We're going to start earlier, so make sure you set your alarms a little bit earlier, 7:15 a.m. We're going to have some more involved elements when it comes to looking a little bit more closely at the top contenders for the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks. And it won't be too far from now, Tony, where we actually have to go on record with our selections.
Yep, we've got a few days still to figure some stuff out. A lot of workouts this weekend, so we'll be locked and loaded by early next week.
All right, let's give our final thoughts quickly here. I think Anna Marie was the headliner coming in, and I think a lot of people will be talking about that work going out.
I definitely will be talking about it. Did nothing to disappoint. That was awesome, just awesome.
Too much?
I don't believe so.
No?
I don't think you can have too much.
But it was obviously by design,
and
right?
it's 9 days out, so it's not like it's 6 days out. So I think there's ample time for full recovery, and boy, it shapes them up beautifully for the big race.
All right, and then again, earlier start time for the work show tomorrow, 7:15 a.m., and I will be proud to be joined by Rosie Napravnik, a two-time winner of the Kentucky Oaks. She'll be joining us this weekend to give her insight into the Oaks and Derby horses. That's going to wrap it up for the Kentucky Derby Morning Work Show, presented by Twin Spires. Enjoy the remainder of your Thursday, everybody. Don't forget tomorrow's work show, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Have a great day.